Hey guys, so we're going to be doing a super short sweet video specifically honed in on a concern of mine now that we're done the beta, but I can't really get this out of my head ever since last night and it was bothering me through the weekend, and I'm not going to lie, I don't feel great about this, so I'm making a video on it during my lunch break from work. Gotta get it out. Short version is that we need a way to specifically craft a legendary that we want. Take inspiration from games like Hearthstone or Overwatch, and we all know how expensive Hearthstone is, so guys, this is not me asking for a handout. We all know how expensive Hearthstone is. And I'm gonna go so far, and I genuinely believe this in my heart of hearts, this is not me just saying it for clickbait or anything. If we don't have a way to do that, I genuinely believe we will lose many players, including myself. Because say I wanted to do a werewolf companion build like what I did in beta. I really had a lot of fun with that. If I don't get that legendary that makes that at all possible after a while of farming, game over. I'm done. I'm out. Back to Final Fantasy 14 to me. See ya, Diablo 4. And it sounds harsh, but I know that that is my genuine thoughts, and I know that I am not alone. If you're gonna go to all this effort to, like, I don't want to say dumb down, but reduce the complexity of skill trees and make the game more accessible for players, I really think that this should be another thing that is seriously evaluated and thought about, because you are going to lose your casual audience. They are not going to be okay with this. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of why I'm saying this. Legendaries in Diablo 4 are build making or build breaking. I know, what a freaking epiphany. But if you don't have a particular legendary, you will be absolutely screwed out of making a build. There are legendaries that are extremely powerful, but extremely niche. Like the werewolf thing, I think it's very niche. I think that that's a very specific build. That's not going to be something you generally would see, or like everywhere. I farmed all day, every single day of the beta weekend to get my druid legendaries, and the beta had extremely enhanced legendary drop rates, and by the end of the beta I was still unable to do many builds that I wanted to do, such as a lightning werewolf build. I can't talk about that. I can theorize it. I can think that that's going to be really cool, but I couldn't play it. So actually, even just saying lightning werewolf build sounds so cool. Like, numbers aside, the fact that druid needs buffs is very true, but the aesthetic and themes are just so badass. But to that point, I can't do that, and that kind of sucks. Now in retail version where legendaries are even rarer, well, I'm not going to be able to do that, and then a more casual player than me would be like, screw this game, I can't do what I want to do. Now to the point, we need a system to create legendaries. I don't care if people will be mad at me for saying this. I'm going to stand by this 100%. I am not backing down. I truly, honest to God, think that this is for the betterment of the health of this game. I think if this is not a thing, you will see casual players drop so quickly it will make your head spin. A huge part of the appeal of this kind of game is the fact that you can be completely screwed to some people, that you never get the legendary that you want for your build for weeks and weeks of grinding on end, and then the season's over and then you start it all over again because RNG decided to take a dump in your cereal every single morning. Some people really do like that, and I think that you already have games that are perfect for that. This is right up there with the complaints that are saying, hey, the skill tree needs to have like a billion different nodes from a billion different things, and then I'm just looking at these people, or they're just like, oh, death also doesn't completely kill a level off of you, also you don't have inventory Tetris. Bro, you already have Path of Exile. I think Path of Exile is a brilliant game. I think that it is something that everyone should respect. The devs are freaking talented, but I don't think that if you're trying to appeal to someone like me who comes from a completely different genre, from Final Fantasy 14 and like the MMORPG scene, you're gonna lose me. You're gonna lose me and World of Warcraft players real quick. Grinding for weeks on end with no legendary is awful, miserable, will ruin my experience with this game, end game. I'm gonna be really transparent here. Even this weekend, I eventually hit the point where, and you guys saw it on my channel, like, where I was like, oh my god, I don't have the legendary for Bestial Wrath or Bestial Wrath that makes my werewolf build significantly stronger. That's a very essential legendary for that. And after literally grinding for 18 hours a day, vendoring even for gold some of the unwanted legendaries, that's so frustrating to me. I was like, what am I doing? And then I was thinking, I could literally be doing Loporrit's Beast Tribes in 14, or I could be doing an Expert Roulette, or anything else, and that's how the casual players will feel. Like, if I'm feeling that way, now this entire section has a huge disclaimer saying I'm not a game dev. All I really want to do is point out that this will drive me and other people to quit Diablo 4, and I 1000% know that that is going to be true. So with that being said, take some of the ideas that I'm about to spitball with that grain of salt, but these ideas are all based off of other Blizzard games, namely Hearthstone and Overwatch, and like I said at the very start of this video, we all know how stupid expensive Hearthstone is, so don't come to me saying, oh, Hearthstone just hands out the legendaries. Bullshit. And you know that. You know that. You cannot earnestly go into my comment section and say that and not feel dumb. People are in fact quitting Hearthstone because they're just like, this game is too expensive for me. But in Hearthstone, we have a few different systems for legendaries that have been implemented, obviously successfully, for years. The biggest one that I could think of to be emulated in Diablo is that you can break down 4 legendary cards in Hearthstone for dust. Think about that like legendaries in Diablo 4. You just break them down for dust or some kind of legendary currency. This dust is then able to be used to craft a particular legendary that you want. Like, I'd be going for the Bestial Wrath legendary. Now, another thing that Hearthstone does that is really amazing when they added it is duplicate protection. This has been years ago. I remember when we didn't have it around, what was it? It was like the Grand Tournament or something. Like, it was so bad. People were getting a whole lot of that taunt simulator menu. It was so bad. But what this does in Hearthstone is if you have a legendary, you won't get another copy of that. And so it sucks a lot, actually, in Diablo 4, this beta. I got a lot of the repeat barrier when you hit elite legendaries. I thought I was going insane. I thought the sleep deprivation hit me hard, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm losing my mind. And then from there, Overwatch is really similar to both. Get currency that is basically Hearthstone dust that you can use to buy particular skins. Now, to be extremely direct, I am not simply saying handout legendaries like they're candy. I think that that is the biggest thing that people are going to criticize saying about this video. I think that's awful. That's not what I want. I want a good, meaty, healthy grind when I come to this kind of game. But I don't want a helpless, hopeless, unrelenting slog, and that's exactly how it will feel to myself and others endgame if we don't get the key legendaries for our particular envisioned build. Like, continue the Hearthstone analogy. Last time I checked Hearthstone, just because you have a few legendaries in a deck, and many decks require them in order to even function, kind of like builds in Diablo. In fact, I think that these two games share a lot more similar than what other games do. But just because you have those legendaries to make that deck work doesn't mean someone will point and laugh and say, oh haha, that loser was handed out those legendaries. Like, I keep saying it, it's so true though. Hearthstone is so expensive, guys. Free-to-play players are still burning themselves out, still on that game, dusting old cards for a quarter of their value to remake new ones. This, like, hopeless cycle that they're not gonna break out of, and the Blizzard devs are like, exactly our engagement. So I don't see how that'll be bad in D4. Again, just judging from, like, comments, 90% of people even seem to be playing solo, so I don't even see why they would really be bothered, why their jimmies would be rustled by this. Like, to me, Diablo 4 is, like, a solo PvE game, even though there's the MMORPG elements. I'll talk about this in a later video when I'm not rushing back to work, but basically what I'm shocked by is that so many people are so upset that, hey, someone that I'm never going to interact with in any capacity might use a legendary that makes them enjoy the game more, and that's a bad thing. Bro, gaslight, gatekeep bullshit, boss. You can keep that gatekeeping shit in other games, but if we're talking about a Blizzard game that they're trying to mass appeal, no. Hell no.